Well, I don't know if he's still licensed officer, does he have a town?
Good evening, and welcome to the, I lost my paper now. The March 4th, I can't believe it's March already, that's part of the problem. The March 4th, 2015, town work session for the town of Ossining. We're gonna ask everyone again to stand and please say the pledge, sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. We're going to make this a very short work session so people can get home and enjoy the weather before it gets bad again. So our topic on our agenda this evening is the homestead option, and I just want to read the press release that went out yesterday. After considerable review and analysis by this board in consultation with legal counsel and the town assessor, the board has, as of tonight, unanimously determined that it is in the best interest of the entire community to table the homestead option. We want you, the community, to understand that we have given significant thought to this issue. During the process of fully evaluating all the impacts of homestead, that the homestead option may have for all of our taxing elements, we realize that we cannot tackle both the first revaluation in 40 years and on top of that, also tackle the additional complexities involved in homestead. We realize there are numerous potential groups that would be significantly impacted by homestead. Single-family resident property owners, condo owners, co-op residential owners, and business and commercial property owners. In fairness to all the community members and to the assessor and to this board, we need to focus on the revaluation. To reiterate, we are tabling the homestead option. It would be the prerogative of future board to reconsider the homestead option if the town undergoes a sequential revaluation in the future. So that went out yesterday, and I'm sure most of you that are in the audience and in the TV audience has gotten it because we tried to put it out to as many sources as we can. I just want to make a couple more comments of that while it was not only about condo owners, it was also about our businesses and our commercial property owners. We were reading several case studies where the homestead option creates two tax levels, and one is business, one is for commercial properties, of which co-ops and businesses would stay, business buildings and apartment buildings and stuff would stay in that one, and then residentials would be in another. And what has happened in many of the case studies, different boards get into office and they want to keep the residential taxes low, so they raise the taxes on the business. And in our particular situation here, we're in the middle of trying to revitalize our business community, and we certainly don't want to burden them with heavier taxes. And in one case study in Kingston, New York, very recently, the businesses have all moved out of Kingston. So it would not help us to do that. We also are taking on new software in the assessor's office. We would have to keep two full assessment roles anyway because the county would not do it. And we had not had time to work with and evaluate, we will not have time to work with and evaluate with the other municipalities and the school districts. Do you want to make a comment?
No.
Yeah. No? Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, I only speak for myself here. I join in that, in what you read today. I believe very strongly that this is a very important issue, the homestead option. And I also think that revaluation is an extremely important issue. And the problem with the two of them is that since we haven't had a revaluation for 40 years or so, it creates some sort of a moving target because there's no way to know how the revaluation will shift the burdens. I think we're all operating under the assumption that there will be a shifting of taxes some people who are, what do they say, 1/3 will go up, 1/3 will go down, and 1/3 will stay the same. We have no way of knowing what that dynamic is now. That's for some later date. There will be a snapshot in time that won't be for many months that we learn what how the taxation of the various taxpayers will be. And I think we need to know that information in order to make a decision on homestead. The fact that that's so far away, and to me, it's like a moving target. How can we possibly know what homestead is all about until we know how the tax revaluation will impact our community? And I think even when the tax revaluation is complete, I think there will be a period of time in which we will understand how it has impacted the community. It won't be all of a sudden, okay, now we understand, now we know. I think it's going to take a while to figure that out. And to me, it's premature for us to decide today, or even think that we could decide, understand the criteria today as to what decision would be made sometime down the line, a year, 2 years from now. So I'm fully in favor of tabling this and focusing on revaluation and doing what's right for all the community in terms of revaluation. And if there's a subsequent revaluation, then they can decide this other complex issue.
Yeah, we're planning on doing a revaluation, the way that it's set up every 4 years. We're going to keep it at 100% valuation, but then you do a much smaller one. This is a dramatic revaluation that we're doing right now. I do want to remind people that when this is done, some people, whether they live in a condo, co-op, single family, two family, have a business, commercial property or rentals or what have you, some of them are going to go up in taxes, some of them are going to go down in taxes, and some of them are going to remain the same. If you are living, and I'll give you an example because I think Scarsdale has been in the paper a lot. If you want to sell your house for $10 million, and I'm going to use outrageous numbers, if you want to sell your house for $10 million but you want it taxed at $5 million, you're going to be taxed at $10 million. And that's where I think that some of that, it's a gentleman came up to me one day and he goes, well, what's going to happen? Look what happened in Scarsdale and with the multi-million-dollar homes though. So you have to take everything into consideration. I think it's important that we do, as Eric said before, we concentrate on the reval. We're going to be doing 100% reval. Everyone's starting to get their data mailer back to tell what is in their house and everything. Then all of this information has to be gathered in, and we have new software coming into the assessor's office, and we need to get to a point where everyone is comfortable with the whole reassessment. Thereby, if there was something that was going to happen, to do these two actions at the same time after we've done all our research, it just seems to be overwhelmingly a tremendous amount of work, added on work that we have to keep running the town as we're doing this too. Even the most staunchest pro, there was a couple of people that would call me up and they say, I want to have the homestead option, it's fair and equitable, what have you. And they even said to me after they participated, and they were not on this board, and they're not sitting at this table. It was some residents that I would feed information to and stuff, and this is such a major project after 40 years that I think it's essential that we get this right, we get the reval right. We get everybody, we're going to have people that are going to contest their assessments. We have to be able to work through it. We think it's an essential thing to do this reassessment. It has been over 40 years since we've done one. And we want taxes to be fair and equitable. We also do understand in the condo developments, for the most part, because we're finding out more and more all the time. There's two different condo developments. There's one that's a condo, and there's one that's a home. What is it? HOA, right? Home that is paying full taxes, and I know there's at least one in the town. And then there's all these complications of if your house, if your apartment was a rental and becomes a condo, there's all these rules and regulations. So the assessor is in full agreement with us that with the amount of work that has to be done, the reassessment is the most important thing. We wanna be able to defend our assessments, which we will be able to do when this is over. We wanna slow down these certs that we have in front of us, and we feel confident, we don't know, but we feel confident that the shift between current residential and commercial will not shift dramatically because we've had so many, we've settled so many of our certiorari's and we have no scars at this point. Scars is small claims, and that's when a homeowner contests their assessment. Remember, this has nothing to do with your taxes, it has everything to do with the assessed value of your house. Some people may, when they get their numbers back, may be shocked. Some people think that their house or apartment or townhouse or what have you is worth a fortune, and when it comes back, it may not show that. But it's going to be at what we think is fair and equitable. We're gonna lock down the values as of at the end of June of this year. We do work very lean and mean in the whole town. And in the assessor's office, we've taken on things like the veterans exemption for the schools. So we've taken on different exemptions too. And all of these have to be put into consideration. So I'm very comfortable with this decision and I want people to focus on the fact that we are doing this reassessment, and this is probably one of the most important things that we're doing.
Yeah, I think it's,
Yeah, let me turn it.
I think with a major project like this, and this is a huge project for the town, the village,
And
all the
villages.
properties.
Yeah, the two villages, right?
Yeah. And if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. Let's really focus on it, and come to a decision that can be defended. So I'm all for the idea of holding it, tabling it.
I would like to, with this homestead thing, I've been to every meeting about homestead. We've discussed it here, and I still don't understand it. Now, the guy from the States was there at one of our
At the
town
last
hall
one.
meetings, and he sounded like he was programmed. I just think I think we need to stick with the reval, get that settled, and then try to, if something comes up, then we can, or we just have more time to get this homestead, act in order. But I think right now, it might be a little bit much to put on everybody, and especially not knowing what this reval is gonna do for you. You don't know if your tax is gonna stay the same, go up, or what we're gonna do. So I agree with tabling it for now.
So we wanted to make sure that we said this in public and not just put out a press release. We were going to add it on to our meeting last night, which was on disaster preparedness, and we had a little disaster called our 17th, by the way, 17th snowstorm. We got the numbers today. We're hoping tonight, we're supposedly, hopefully, it will go up. No offense to people that live on Long Island, but let's go out on Long Island and miss us a little bit here. So we wanted to make sure that we said it tonight on camera so we could put it out on film. So, does anybody have any, I see we have a little audience here today. Yes, ma'am. You
Yes,
need to come up to this microphone, okay, for me?
Sure. Hi, first of all, I want to thank you all for deferring the homestead option. But
Oh,
my,
yeah, you need to give your name and your address, okay?
Lynn Farrell, 226 Horseshoe Circle, Ossining,
Thank
Fox
you.
Hill condominiums.
Thank you.
Obviously, we're very concerned about it. My problem and some of my fellow homeowners' problem in the condominiums is the use of the language, "we're tabling it." Is it off the table completely until, unless?
For this revaluation, it is off the table.
So in other words, it won't be considered at all unless and until the town does a new reevaluation.
Right, now, again, let me just explain that to you. Yes, it's not gonna be part of this revaluation, but we're never gonna go 40 years with a I mean, this was too expensive and it was too much. Okay, so what we wanna make sure that you understand is that we plan on keeping the role, the assessment role at 100%. So when you do one in 4 years, everybody will be much more comfortable with it. Everybody will be much more, it'll give people time to be educated about it. We've gotten we have everybody that's come to those town hall meetings and everything, have gotten a tremendous amount of education.
More than I ever wanted to know about the real property tax law.
I have to be honest with you.
I'm sure.
You know, and one of the biggest, one of the things is that, you know, like a woman wrote to me today, she goes, it's all about the condos, and it's not. You know, that is a significant part. We get that, we get all of that, everybody's on, you know, most of the people are on fixed incomes and what have you. But it's also about our businesses, it's also about the amount of work that we would be adding on to the assessor's department. All of those things, that's the office that does all the number crunching and does everything like that, and then it moves to the tax, you know, then they come up with the rates, we're actually came up with the rates today for the town taxes and stuff, and then it moves out to the bills, right? So that's a tremendous responsibility for that assessor's office, and we so wanna get this reassessment
I
done right.
understand that, but as recently as the last meeting down at the library,
Right,
you had, as a group, had said, we're not gonna make a decision on this until all the numbers are in.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, we get this statement, we're tabling it.
Yeah.
Made many of us feel that, okay, they don't wanna consider it now, they want it off the table for now, but that doesn't mean
No.
when all the numbers are in, it wouldn't be considered again. And I just want you
Okay.
all on the record saying, it's until the next time.
it's until the next time,
Okay, thank you.
yes. And we had each member of the board has signed that document too, so,
If
yeah.
I could just add one thing,
Yes,
that
sir.
if the audience is looking for even more than that, it's not possible by law, you can't, even if it's the same physical members, this board cannot bind any future board action. Every board can act
Right.
as it sees fit, so they can only speak for themselves as they sit right now during this current administration.
But we should also point out that you cannot even consider the homestead option unless you're in a reassessment period, okay?
Excuse me,
Yes, ma'am,
do I need to come up?
you do, and you need to give your name and address into the mic, okay?
Lillian Nahas, 52 Deerfield Lane,
A
Austin.
little bit closer, because
Lillian Nahas.
it's not for us, it's actually for the
52
camera.
Deerfield Lane, Austin.
I bet you're in the woods too then.
No, I'm in Deerfield.
I mean Deerfield, okay, Deerfield Lane.
What I just heard was contradictory, because you had said that it's off the table for the purposes of this reassessment.
Right.
But what this gentleman just said is that you can't bind future boards. So theoretically, if this board were not reelected, or if there were a shift in the board members, if the composition of the board were to change in November, another board could reverse this decision.
They could, but it will be so, and I just wanna make it clear to everyone, we are going to have the Tyler Technologies come up with the assessment, because we wanna know what the shift from commercial to residential is, which is what their two analysis do. You're right, somebody could come in, but this board has decided now that they would not do it, so,
How many of the members are up for reelection?
3.
Thank you.
So it's not
So
open.
this is not a done deal.
No.
Well, I would say that if everything was moving in that direction with the assessor and the way we have structured their job functions and everything, that it would be
I mean, well, this board is speaking for itself right now, and you're correct. But this is the best you could ever get. I mean, you've been coming before every meeting asking the board to state their position on it, and now they're doing it.
So, yes, ma'am. Oops.
Renati Rennie, 47 Mystic Drive from Mystic Point Condominiums. First of all, I do want to thank the board for making the decision they have made. It's lifted a great worry from a number of our condo association members and people on fixed income and recent homeowners, young families starting out. Mystic Point was the condo association that called all the other members together. So I want to thank you for galvanizing all the condo associations in Ossining to come together over this issue.
It was like herding cats.
Yes. And as a result, we are going to stay together and continue to talk about issues that relate to condos and Ossining and both the town and the village of Ossining. And we hope that you will call on us as a group to help you if you have any concerns about the condo associations in Ossining. So
Well,
thank you very much for making us get together finally after 20 years. I've been here almost 20 years, so we appreciate that. And we thank you for your decision because it really does lift the weight off the minds of all the condo owners.
Well, it's, I mean, we try to run this town like a business, and we know the difference between public and private businesses. And, looking at it in the way we did, last time we were all together at a town hall meeting was, we had John, what's his name? Wallam, come in and give us a whole presentation, and we had already started doing some massive research and case studies on what the homestead had done to other municipalities. So I want to congratulate this board for doing a tremendous amount of research on this. We've gotten to know many, many more facets of this whole thing than we thought we would ever have to know. But I do want to thank you, and I'm glad that the condos associations have gotten together because that's part of. I'm sorry, my phone. I don't know why it vibrates like that. So, but anyway, thank you. Anybody else want to speak?
I have one question. When is the
Well, you
next-
need to get up at the
Oh.
mic because it's the camera that you're gonna.
Okay.
I can hear you, and we
All
can hear you. But
One question I
Sure.
forgot. When is the next revaluation, reassessment due after this?
it would
one's
not
done?
be for. It's a costly proposition,
Right.
so it would not be for at least 4 years
And
after
that would
that.
be what, 2020? Is 2016 the end date?
End date, and then you would start it in 2020, which means it would be 2022.
Right, okay, good,
Yeah.
thank you.
And then again, it won't be that we won't continue. One of the things that we did do is we reached out to the villages. Remember, we're doing both villages and the unincorporated area, 91, and we were doing 91%. We're doing 91% of Briarcliff, so that led a little bit. We have 2 school districts that were involved, so we didn't have time to really educate them, and so that they could make proper decisions too. Because again, we have villages. The village of Briarcliff Manor right now is going right into budgets, and the schools, both school systems are in budgets right now. And then we'll turn around, and then the village of Ossining and the unincorporated area and the town general budgets start again. So we're constantly, and this is one of the things that we're in the process of doing right now. So we have a lot of things on our table. And we hope you continue coming to our town hall meetings because we enjoyed having a nice crowd there. And on March 31st, because of the snow last night, we usually don't meet on the 5th Tuesday with this 5 Tuesdays in a month. But on March the 31st, it will be optional for the board. I have to promise them that. But we will have the town hall meeting that we had planned for last night. And I can only say that by March 31st, it better not still be snowing. So, March goes in like a lion and out like a lamb. I'm holding that quote. And we're gonna do disaster preparedness, and I think that that's another topic, and we wanna start having lots of different discussions. We're going to do LED lighting all through the town. We're piggybacking, hopefully, with the village of Ossining next Wednesday. We are actually, the town board has been invited to the village's work session. We do have a town legislative session next Tuesday, and next Wednesday, the 11th, we have been invited to be it's gonna be the first item on the agenda to discuss LED lighting for all the outside lighting through the community, and we'll be piggybacking, the village takes care of the unincorporated areas lighting anyway, and we're hoping that that presentation comes through. A couple other things, just to name a couple other things that we're working on, we're in the process of discussing with this board a couple of new vehicles to drive the seniors around. We have this great senior nutrition program, which has all activities at the community center, and we have Meals on Wheels that we take care of 150 homes of. So it's, we have a lot of things going on, and those are just skimming the thing. But we wanted to make sure that people understood that this is, as far as we're concerned, it's a tabled item right now, and we're really gonna concentrate and let the assessor concentrate on getting the reval done and done properly. Yeah, and we have all the confidence, if you hear anything differently, we have all the confidence in Tyler Technology and with our monitors, so we have a lot of things going on. We do ask you that if it's possible to let the home inspectors into your homes or businesses. It just helps us to make sure that we get accurate information. And after this meeting tonight, we're actually meeting at 7 o'clock we're starting for the unincorporated area. There are 3 planning boards in this town of Boston, one in the village of Briarcliff Manor, one in the village of Boston, and there's a planning board for the unincorporated area. And we do not have a board of architectural review in the unincorporated area, and we will be putting together, we have some people coming in that are volunteering to put that together with us. So we're now piggybacking, every time we have a snow day, we have to piggyback meetings on top of meetings. So we have a lot of things going on. We encourage everyone to look at the Town of Boston webpage. We are very, very transparent. We put everything on there. I'm thinking I think what we'll do too is put the case study from Kingston on there, so people can really realize one of the case studies that we used to compare what can happen to a municipality. So other than that, I think that's our work session for tonight. I truly want to thank you for coming out tonight. Yes,
Can I
I'm
raise
sorry.
a new subject? Or do
You,
we have to stay on the subject of the?
we didn't advertise a new subject, but Bill, come on up. Is it gonna be accessory apartments?
No.
Uh,
I'm giving up on that.
No, don't give up on it, it's just, that was the only thing we're doing on accessory apartments. By the way, we are doing, for the unincorporated area, we're doing accessory apartments, and it's simply that we have the ability to take them away if someone has constant problems with them, that's all.
Right, that was a good idea. Bill Janicki, 12 Morningside Court, in the town outside. To take this conversation from the ethereal and sublime down to a relatively small point. And as we've discussed with council, esteemed council, this issue has been before the board for 2 or 3 years. It involves 120 Morningside Drive, which has had a 4th garage illegally against code and refused to remove it. We took them to court, and we won in court, Supreme Court. We went to Court of Appeals, we won Court of Appeals.
Appellate division.
Appellate Division, you don't get much higher than that.
Court of Appeals is higher.
Oh, it is, okay. And in spite of all of the rulings in support of the town,
Right.
we can't seem to get action in removing the 4th garage. It's not the biggest issue ever, but it's a frustration.
Right.
We've been
It was
talking
more
about
than
it
that, but
so long.
it was more than the garage at one point, so
Yes,
there
it
was.
was other things as well.
Right, right.
But the garage was a significant part of it.
As a matter of fact,
You're on.
Mr. Janik and I were talking about it this weekend, actually, and I apologize to you because I hadn't been able to, because of all the snow and everything else, talk to the building inspector. This has been before, this has been in the courts. Mr. Janicki is correct. The homeowner, the property owner did initially apply for variances to allow for the structures to remain. Variances were turned down. The homeowner then started what's called an Article 78 proceeding in Supreme Court. The homeowner lost at that level, then took the appeal to the appellate division. They lost at the appellate division level, and now it's been in the enforcement phase, which our enforcement officer, Mr. Hamilton, has been in court with them, and I'm not quite sure of what the status is right now. I know that they were, at one point, he did tell me some time ago that they were working on pulling permits to do the work and what was going to be required. I just don't know why it
To
got.
take down the garage.
That's required as per the court rulings. So, I mean, there are some other issues, and maybe that could be holding it up, because one of the issues has to do with a structure that was put up outside, sort of a built-up structure, and the question was between, I guess, Mr. Hamilton and the property owner as to what extent it could be modified to come within the law and not violate the zoning codes. And I could only imagine that they were trying to come up with a global resolution of everything in order to implement the court rulings and comply with the law. So, but I will check with Mr. Hamilton on that to find out, and I can get that.
I know that Mr. Hamilton is staying on top of it too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
I'll get you an answer.
So with that, let's close down our work session. Please join us next Tuesday, the 10th, right? Oh my gosh, March 10th. And our next work session will be St. Patrick's Day, so if you want to join us here on St. Patrick's Day, we do have, we don't get that day off either. But next Tuesday, March 10th, we will be meeting at the courthouse for a legislative meeting. And so I think that is it. Did you have any other announcements?
I just want to mirror what you said about thanking our community for being so active and participating in this
Absolutely.
process. We couldn't do it without you. You're an integral part of our decision-making, not just the people in the room, but the people who are watching us, and for that matter, the people that don't watch but email and come in and visit the supervisor's office. We really appreciate your participation. Thank you.
So, move to close this work session.
Motion to close.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
So thank you and have a wonderful weekend, and please be safe tonight, and this weekend's supposed to go up to 45, it will feel like summertime, but that should be good. Thank you very much.
Do is re-elect this board.